Immigration, while being widely disagreed upon between our two political parties, should actually be a widely agreed upon thing. Immigration provides next to zero downsides pertaining to the economy. Immigration is a powerful thing in any country around the world. Countries all around the world often have similar discussions to those we have here in the United States, that immigrants will take our jobs or they will hurt wages for native workers. These things are simply not true, not just here, but universally across the world. In this speech, I will talk about what immigration is, how it benefits our economy, and why we need immigration now. Immigration, in the most basic sense, is the process of people moving from one place to another place. This is different in any time period in any country on earth. Immigration into the US is different than it is in other countries. By this, I mean the process one must go through to enter the United States. This also changes depending on the country the person emigrating comes from and the reason they are emigrating. Some will migrate for school or work and then leave after an extended time. Others seek more permanent residence and wish to build new lives in a new country. What I will be talking about primarily are immigrants seeking permanent residence in the United States. Immigration is necessary for many reasons. Immigration played a huge role in America's industrialization, as a huge influx of immigrants in the 19th and 20th centuries helped propel the US to its superpower status today. This immigration provided a huge boost to our population and allowed our economy to grow at a faster and larger rate than previously. Many of these immigrants also worked low-wage manufacturing jobs that native-born Americans were more reluctant to take. This is a similar problem that we see today. A reason why immigration is so important today lies in a phenomenon that exists across the world, that as countries industrialize, the populations start having less children. This is due to many factors that are beyond the scope of this speech, but it is nevertheless a factor in this. With that being said, the US population is in a slight decline and will only continue to do so if there are no large influxes of immigrants. Our current population is growing at 1.7%, but needs to be near 2.1% to maintain its numbers. With a declining population, it can be very difficult to maintain an economy, and wages often suffer due to job shortages. Immigration is not only vital to supplement job loss, but also help grow the economy in many other ways. This is because immigration actually creates jobs. Immigration, essentially, is an influx of labor. This is labor that business owners can use to create new businesses or expand existing ones. If you have the capacity to expand your business, why would you not? Additionally, these jobs tend to not interact with native workers much. According to the book, Becoming American, Why Immigration is Good for Our Nation's Future by Faribarzs Gedor, immigrants are bimodal, so they take the low and high skilled jobs, while most native workers opt for medium skilled jobs. Immigrants make up large portions of the labor force in farming, fishing, forestry, cleaning, and maintenance work. On top of this, immigrants also raise wages of native-born workers according to the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. This is attributed to immigrant workers being more mobile than native workers are, meaning they are more likely to move to areas to address labor shortages. The jobs that immigrants are filling are usually complementary to native worker jobs and not direct competition, leading to an increase in efficiency. This is seen in economies all over the world. For example, here's a graph from swissinfo.com showing an increase in wages in almost identical proportion to the amount of immigrants allowed into Switzerland. These boosts that immigrants provide to the economy are very positive and are in line with the observations all around the world. So not only do immigrants not take native worker jobs, they actually increase their wages as well. Through the COVID situation, we have seen strong market changes affect our country rapidly. In the year of 2020, US consumers stopped buying things at previous rates. This caused manufacturers to stop producing things. During the past year of 2021, people began buying things more, in some markets even more than previously. This caused a huge and sudden need for increased production. Due to this, we now have a huge need for labor. Some estimates even claim that even if our unemployment fell to 0%, meaning every person in the US were employed, there would still be a 1 million person job shortage. 0% unemployment is not a possibility in the United States, but it is also not good for the economy anyway. What the job shortage highlights, however, is that our labor market is in serious need of workers. Workers that can easily be supplemented through immigration. The increase in all job postings in 2021 was averaged at 41% last year, according to the New American Economy, shown on this chart from Vox. As discussed earlier, immigration helps create new jobs. We cannot benefit from that if we have jobs to fill already. As the US still sees drastic changes in its unemployment rates from the pandemic, immigration may be a useful stabilizing force in our economy. Immigration is often portrayed as an us versus them conflict, pitting two political parties against one another. However, the reality is that immigration is just generally good. This is not to even take into account the recent effects COVID has had on our economy. What I hope is coming across from this speech is that if we follow the evidence, the issue becomes very clear, at least in terms of its economic impacts. However, it is noteworthy that immigration's economic impacts are usually the most cited reason for denying more immigrants. This speech obviously did not cover other issues people may have with immigration, but those are topics for other speeches on different days. This, however, was a speech based on facts and estimates from around the world that debunked some of the most common myths surrounding immigration.